Okay, so hopefully this shows up. Let me see. All right. So it's been a while since I've done a live gaming here on YouTube. Let me see if it's working. It's been a while since I've done a live gaming here on YouTube. Okay. Let me see. So I'm gonna do another test just to make sure it's working. I want to make sure everything's coming through correctly. So should hear some music. So let's see if that's the case. It's working. It's been a while since I've done a live gaming here on YouTube. Okay. Let me see. So I'm gonna do another test just to make sure it's working. I want to make sure everything's coming through correctly. Okay. So should hear some music. So let's see if that's the case. It's working. Great. So everything seems to be working. And basically, as you probably saw by the title, forget modern gaming, do this instead. So what do I mean by that? Well, it's exactly as it sounds. I love playing games that I grew up with, and so for a lot of people, this is considered retro gaming. But for me, these are the games that I grew up with, and so it's really not retro gaming for me. It's just the games that I grew up with, and that's kind of what I'm doing today. Um, if you ever have seen any of my other live streams gaming, that's all I'm really doing. I'm basically going to the arcades, playing games, just like I used to do when I was a kid. And back at that time, you would go there with your friends, pizza parlors, stuff like that, laundromats, wherever you could get a arcade game. And back then, arcade games were everywhere. And this one right here, this is actually one of my favorite games in the arcades. It's X-Men, and I absolutely love this game. It is a really, really awesome game. Konami, they could really do no wrong. Them and Capcom. This is when Konami was actually really good. So, yeah, I can't say much more than that. And the graphics engine here, it was used a lot. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles used the same engine. And what can I say, man? This game, I still go to the, like old arcades just to play the original arcade. And it's still fun. And what can I say about this game that, it's really not hard to see why it's as fun as it is. It's just an awesome game. And you got to remember, this came out in the 1990s. So this is way before Marvel made all these comic book movies and before comic book movies became as popular as they were. Okay, so in actuality, the comic book industry was really struggling. And if I remember correctly, this is even before Disney had bought Marvel. Okay, so it's way different times. But I used to collect comic books when I was young. I had boxes of comic books actually. I still wish I kept them, but I didn't. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. Oh man. So oh man. So I was definitely a huge fan of this. And if it's any other company, there's been many other companies that has made comic book games, and it takes the right company, the right team to do something like this, and Konami definitely got this right. And the comic book license, it was out to many other games, so for anybody remembers and still knows it today, Marvel versus Capcom, X-Men versus Street Fighter, obviously that was Capcom, but it took really great companies like those, to make an awesome game like this. And 2 players, this had 4 players on the cabinets. It's just an awesome time. So you can imagine being a kid, maybe, at that time you were 10, 11, 12, going to the arcade with your friends, and man, just, it's just nuts. What can I say? Oh, crap. And with these live gaming sessions, I'm not a live streamer, especially a live gaming streamer. So, like I said, my whole point of this, I just want to have fun with y'all. Play some games, retro games, not modern games. And I probably sound like a broken record if you watch any of my other gaming videos. I've done other videos about modern games. I even did one that talked about how modern games just suck. And with this one, to me, okay, these type of games, you know, I don't have to download hours and hours large files, take up space on my computer. I don't have to worry about patches. And most importantly, you know, for me, I don't have to worry about downloading games that are incomplete. And I'm the beta tester, you know, and I don't have to also worry about companies, these big gaming companies tracking everything that I do, blocking me. I mean, I could go on and on, okay? If you love modern games, you know, that's great, you know, I mean, video games are awesome, okay? And so I'm definitely not bashing anybody who loves modern gaming, because I play modern games as well, but it's a small percentage. But for me, retro gaming, these type of games that I grew up with, this to me is pure gaming, you know? And if you're one of the few, you know, or not few, but if you're one of the many who actually still own consoles and games, I still have consoles and physical games. It's really awesome for me. I could just, you know, plug in the game and they still work. You know, I mean, of course, you could still do that today with modern physical game consoles, but more and more, it's not the same experience. And you know, some games you can't play without having to check back in with the gaming servers, and who knows, you know, when these games are no longer available, you're kind of screwed. You know what I mean? Let me check real quick. Oh, there's somebody here, Carl. Oh, hey, Carl, man, great to see you here. Thank you for joining. So Carl saying, great to see you live, my man. Thank you. I'm playing some modern, but I am easily 80% retro on my AOUs and ALPs. Yeah, thanks, Carl. And what Carl's referring to here, for anybody who's joining this, ALU is the Arcade Legends Ultimate. ALP is the Arcade Legends Pinball. Zod Rider, thanks for joining. Hey, thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, Carl. But for me, it's probably like 95% these type of games, the games I grew up with. And I hate saying retro games sometimes, but I just say that because that's what people know it as. But yeah, I spend 95% of my time playing retro games. The other 5% I do play modern games. If you've seen some of my videos, I do have modern games. Zod, baby. Oh, all right, okay. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Carl. Are you referring to Superman 2? Because I love Zod. Neo before Zod. Oh, Zod Rider. I'm sorry. He was referring to Zod Rider. Okay. This game will always be classic. Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. For sure, Zod. Oh, so y'all know each other. It's awesome. Oh, man. And, you know, whenever I played this in the arcade, you know, like once again, you know, as a kid, I was just, and for anybody who knows this, you know, you grew up around the time that people went to the arcades, I was blown away by the graphics and sound. I mean, you got to remember, man, even today, this still has aged really well. I mean, graphics like this were just mind-blowing. And if I remember correctly, at the time, there's many different arcade cabinets for X-Men. I think that some of them had like a wide screen, it's multiple screen, if I remember correctly. Okay, and so those are for the more expensive cabinets. Hopefully this live stream's coming through okay, y'all. You could hear the game as well. I want to make sure. I tested earlier and the game sound did come through. But let me make sure that, so things might freeze as I'm looking at this. Okay, so, all right. Yeah, so the sound, yeah, everything's coming through. Okay. So, yeah, so blown away, you know, and when my friend saw this, man, I had to get some quarters from my parents. I don't know how many quarters I dropped into this. As with most arcade games back then, man, you're gonna drop a lot of quarters. And I really miss the days back then where, oh, thanks, Carl. Is the games music coming through? I checked it earlier, it did. Yeah, it does sound like it's coming through. I've done streams before, like I said, I'm not the best at this, where I streamed the whole thing and the game music didn't come through. And some streams I've done, I forgot to turn on the right microphone and it didn't record my voice at all. It was absolutely horrible. So I've said this before in other ones, or maybe not here on YouTube, but other live streams I've done. I really have a lot of respect for people who do this, like gaming streamers who do this for hours and hours. and their stuff is advanced. You know, they're doing a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know how to do it. And you know, the bigger channels, you know, they got like hundreds or thousands of people on their chat. Like, it's insane to me. Like, even right now, just talking to Carl and Zod, it's hard for me to stay focused, you know. So, hats off to them. Carl saying stop by and check out Arcade Talk and Stars Review. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what that is. Is that on Twitch or something? I don't do I don't watch a lot of, actually I rarely watch any of those game streams, Carl. I just do this type of stuff, you know. Oh man. Yeah, my brothers, they're on Twitch and stuff, and they do game streams and stuff. It's just a lot, you know. You know, so Zod is saying modern games are cool, but they rely too much on servers, and it's far too easy for companies to delist or remove games from existence. Yeah, Zod, there's like, man, there's so many things, man. I mean, just what I stated earlier, some of the most obvious stuff, you know, like if I have to download a modern game, I gotta really consider time and space. You know, like, especially these new AAA games, like 80 gigs, 100 plus gigs. I'm like, man, that's crazy, you know. And then I have fast internet, but still, it sucks. And then like some games, you know, like I said, I'm not a huge modern gamer. Like some games like Doom, I have to set up a Bethesda account or Ubisoft. I'm like, man, I already bought the game, so now I have to create an account so I could play the game that I bought. And then, you know, like I do digital marketing for anybody who cares. And some people might hate when I say this, but all those YouTube video ads, those ads that you see on TikTok, Facebook, Meta, IG, on your websites, I do that stuff behind the scenes. And so I see a lot of the data that companies like Google, Facebook, Apple, you know, Apple, they collect a lot of data, just to let you know. So they have a lot of data on people. And these game companies, they know a lot about you, okay? Because whenever we're running ads, we could run ads on apps and stuff. We could target people who are using an app, okay? And so it's no surprise that you see ads while you're playing a game and it's relevant to the game that you're playing, okay? Because these game companies are collecting a lot of data, you know? They know when you log in, they know how long you play, they know heat maps, hotspots on where you're clicking. Anyway, I don't like that. I just, you know, but that's part of modern gaming. Yeah, and then, yeah, exactly, Zod. Okay, creating accounts and microtransactions. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, you can't really even enjoy the game. I could go on this whole stream with just a rant about it. And I'm not even a serious modern gamer, right? But it just really sucks. Like, I'm trying to play a game, right? And then some advertising, which is basically what it's just marketing, will pop up. And then, or I need to proceed further. And, you know, if you get this DLC or microtransaction, it lets you cheat. You know, it's just, it's stupid, you know, and I just, yeah, I hate the experience. I'm sorry. I mean, of course, there's definitely modern games that I enjoy, but for me, it's not worth all of it, you know. And once again, being a digital marketer, seeing how much data these companies collect, it's creepy. You know, it really is. I mean, they know a lot about you. And it's not just on your computer. They could track you to wherever you're at. You know, you're on your mobile device. You're talking to other people. They're on social media, obviously, so they're tracking you everywhere. Let me get off on that because some people probably hate me talking about that. PS3 is still my favorite console, but I do want to play Spider-Man, and I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077. But I enjoy my arcade games more. Oh, you know what, Carl? I have not played Cyberpunk, so I think my brother has in his library, his Steam library. I really want to check that out. Oh, hold on. God, I forgot. Is his name the Blob? I think his name is the Blob. I think so. Man, these graphics. I'm just gonna keep gushing on these graphics. This thing looks so awesome. Hand-drawn art. Okay, so Zod is saying, modern games have become the equivalent of quarter munch arcades, except these are a lot more expensive than quarters. Yes, they're way more expensive. Game purchases now are not even full games anymore either. Yeah, Zod. I've seen some of these expansion packs. They're more than a game. I'm like, what? And you're right. You know, they're not full games. It's like, so even if you have a physical game, right, for modern games, okay, and most modern games nowadays, the physical ones, you still get the full game, but you might not get the full newest version of the game. Okay, so if there's updates, changes, bug fixes, you won't get that later on. Like for example, if for some reason the game servers for that game are no longer running, you're screwed. You're really screwed. You know, yeah, it's just bugs me so much. Oh man. Yeah, so yeah, and you know, for people who are here on this chat and anybody who's a gamer, they know what I'm talking about, okay? And once again, there's some really amazing modern games. I know that for sure. There's thousands of indie games and so forth. It's just everything else that surrounds it. This right here, what I'm doing right now, and everybody knows this. This to me is pure gaming. This is what I want. I just want to put in my quarters, press start, whatever. I just play my game, man. There's nobody tracking me. There's no annoying microtransactions. I mean, they had really great quality control because the games are actually finished. You know, Konami's not going to come back later and say, "Oh, well, that X-Men arcade it's not working." You know, and of course, the arcade games did have different versions. Okay, but once again, they were done. They were completed. Oh, okay. So Zod would say they sell us beta builds with content updates. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, we are the beta testers, for real. We're the beta testers. If you don't have an internet connection, you are screwed with modern games. Yeah, you're pretty much screwed. Carl said last game I played and wished it had DLC was Stray. Oh, I haven't tried that. Is Stray is that cat game, right? I think that's what it is. Haven't played. Oh, I'm just curious, Carl. Since you said you played Cyberpunk, how is it? What about that new version that I think it's Phantom Liberty or something? What were your thoughts on that? Because if my brothers didn't get it, I think that's one game I do want to get, especially with the new Phantom Liberty and the patches that they've made to it. Oh man, I love this game. I really do. And another thing that I like about this game, it's varied. Okay, like you start inside a complex building, you know, outside in the streets, and now you're in a jungle. It's really awesome. And a lot of these enemies, they are from the comic books, you know, which is definitely awesome for fans, like comic book fans like myself. And Wolverine, he's my favorite character. I love Wolverine. Whatever, you know. Let me see. Carl said, I waited for Cyberpunk 2.0 update and half the price, like $25, but it's complicated. Beat 'em ups are my jam as well. Oh, what do you mean it's complicated? Does that mean it's good, or have either played the new? No, Zod. I want to. I love Double Dragon. Oh, okay. I'm gonna bring Storm in here. Yeah, I love Double Dragon. I haven't tried the new one. I heard really good things about the new one, actually. I wasn't sure about that look that they had, you know, the new look with Double Dragon. But I think people liked it. I haven't even tried the new Streets of Rage. Well, it's not new anymore, but Streets of Rage 4. I heard that was good. Okay, so Zod says it's a great beat 'em up. It feels like class. Oh, that's great. And you know, I would say these smaller companies, you know, they do, I think, a better job in just creating a really fun game without a lot of distractions. And then whenever they do provide updates or DLCs or whatever, it actually enhances the game. So I could say that, you know, for modern games, I much rather prefer the smaller studios or good indie game developers versus the large mega trillion-dollar AAA ones. Most of them I absolutely hate. Now, if they took away all the other crap and just stuck on the games itself, then I would enjoy it more. God, this enemy's pretty tough. Where's my special move? Where's her? Wait, I don't know why I can't do her. Oh, there it is. There's her special. Oh man, it took some of my life. Yeah, take that. Was that the main boss? Nope, that wasn't even the. Oh, there's the Sentinels. Streets of Rage 4 is a lot of fun. Yeah, I think we're gonna pick that up if it's on sale. Carl said I was waiting for it to go console, so it's on my. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it when it first came out. The first week it was $14.95. Yeah, that's a good, really good price. Yeah, I love beat 'em ups too. They're really fun. What are y'all some of your? You know, Carl, I know you have a whole bunch of retro machines, like, and Zod, like, what are y'all some of your favorite retro games or arcade classics? It doesn't matter what genre. I was just curious since we're on live chat. Oh man. Oh. You know, when I'm playing this, it kind of makes me think of the first X-Men movie that came out. I actually did enjoy that movie. That's a good movie. And Storm, she played her. Halle Berry, she played a pretty solid role in that. I did enjoy that first one. It just reminds me, playing her now, reminds me of the first X-Men movie and that last part when they were in the Statue of Liberty and she shocks Toad. Really cool. And Hugh Jackman, still to me, it's always going to be my favorite Wolverine. I actually enjoyed Logan a lot. That was a really good film. Really good film. Zod is saying Mortal Kombat 1 through 3, X-Men. Oh, Magneto, Double Dragon, pretty much any Neo Geo fighter. Oh yeah, I love Neo Geo games. You know what? That's Neo Geo. Oh man, dude, when that came out, like, well, none of my friends had it. I mean, man, you had to be rich, really. Actually, I don't know anybody who had the Neo Geo. That thing, I mean, even to this day, that thing's incredible. And you know, for anybody who remembers, whenever the Neo Geo came out, it was never, meant to come as a home console. Okay, for anybody who knows arcade machines, you know, arcade vendors back then, they would have to buy an arcade cabinet, and then if they wanted to switch out the game, they could either buy a new arcade cabinet, or what they could do is retrofit that arcade cabinet for another game. Okay, but what Neo Geo did was they had a multi-video system, MVS. So what they did was you would use the same arcade cabinet, and then you would change out the cartridges in there. Okay, so whenever SNK did that, that was really popular with arcade owners because it made it a lot less expensive for them to just simply pop in new games by getting a new cartridge. Okay, and if I remember correctly, there was demand from arcade vendors for them to do, like, I guess, like a portable version of that or a smaller version. And that's kind of how the Neo Geo MVS system came about. Okay, so it was never meant for normal people. Okay, that's why it was so expensive. I mean, I can't remember the year that it came out, but when it came out, I think the system was like $600 or something. And then each one of the games was like $200 to $300. And you got to remember, back then, with inflation and everything, that's probably your console and one game, you're probably going to spend close to $2,000 in today's time. Okay, but once again, it was never ever meant for home users. Okay, and even to me, even when the PlayStation 1 came out, you know, the Sega Saturn, all these other systems, PlayStation 2, I still feel Neo Geo did a better job of producing real arcade games because it was an arcade machine. Okay, yeah. So Zod say MVSX is my favorite home arcade cabinet to this day. Yeah. Thanks for correcting me, Zod. MVSX. Yeah, it's awesome, man. I wish I had a Neo Geo, you know. And honestly, if I would have saved up my money, I would have been able to get it because when I was young, I actually did have a 3DO. I had a 3DO. Took me a long time to save up money, and then I had an Atari Jaguar too. I wish I still had them. Oh man, come on. Yeah, I kind of wish I still had them. I mean, I still have some game consoles. It's my brothers really who kept these. You know, I don't know what happened. I had so many game consoles. but I had to save up a long time for it. Man, I should have saved up my money for a Neo Geo. God, that thing was so awesome, and the controller was just amazing. It was solid, super solid arcade controller. Probably the best you're gonna get with the built-in with the game system. I mean, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, yeah, Captain Commando, Final Fight, TMNT, Battletoads, Vendetta. Man, all of those, Carl. Me too. Vendetta was incredible, Zod. By Konami. I did a review on that. Man, that thing was awesome. Huge, huge characters. The music was incredible. And honestly, about the Neo Geo could have done it. I'm pretty sure. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that I never understood. And maybe y'all had some ideas on this, okay? When the PlayStation came out, PlayStation 1, okay, Sega Saturn, they were technically more powerful than the Neo Geo, okay? But because there were a few things, okay? Both of the systems, if I remember correctly, did not have as much RAM as the Neo Geo. And also they ran on CDs, okay? And so even though technically they were more powerful than the Neo Geo, whenever the Neo Geo ports came out on the PlayStation 1 or Sega Saturn, they still weren't as good as the arcade, okay? And then the Sega Saturn had a RAM cartridge as well. Okay, so it's like, so I never really got the full game experience. And even when the PlayStation 2 came out, which was way more powerful, you know, I still didn't feel that. And honestly, to me, it's probably my favorite system personally. And I know some people might not agree with this, but the Sega Dreamcast is my favorite system. Okay, because at least for me, it was the first system that gave me truly the arcade experience. Even though, you know, other systems like the PlayStation 2 and stuff, they had way more power. And, you know, it just gave me that arcade experience. And since Sega, which is one of my favorite companies, definitely arcade games, my favorite company, it was just a much better experience. And I just wish the Sega Dreamcast lasted longer, because we could have got so many Model 3 games on there, you know, Model 2 games. I love them. All the System 32 games. Sega is my favorite arcade game maker out there, you know. Then obviously Konami, Capcom, Namco, so many, dude. They made the best, but Sega's my favorite. Yes, that's it. Violent Storm is another. Oh yeah, it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I got that. Was it okay? Violent Storm was the one I was thinking of. Vendetta's really good too, but Violent Storm had awesome music. Really awesome music. Large characters. The ports always confuse me on those consoles. I expect the arcade perfection. Dreamcast did arcade perfect ports for sure. Yeah, Zod, it just didn't make any sense to me. I mean, technically these machines were way more powerful than these. I mean, these home consoles at the time, they were way more powerful than the arcade machines. But you know, there's certain things like RAM. But then other than that, they were really powerful. I just didn't understand it. I didn't get it. So Zod saying, have you seen some of the fan-made Atomic Toy ports for Dreamcast? I haven't seen the fan-made ones. Hold on. Let me pause this really quick since we're talking about consoles. Okay, I'm gonna be right back because this is a good conversation. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and since we were talking about game consoles, I'm gonna probably let myself die, but yeah, here's my Sega Dreamcast. To me, this is my favorite game system. I know some people will go, "You're crazy," but I love arcade games, so this is my favorite. And then I love Sega. Here's the Sega Saturn. I love Sony PlayStation 2 as well, but really the Sega was for me. And then come on, man, Nintendo 64 or Ultra 64 before it was named Nintendo 64. And then Final Fantasy with Squall. It's Final Fantasy 8 right here. Yeah, but yeah, for me, the Sega Dreamcast, man, I love this system, man. I mean, it did not only did it do perfect arcade games for me, or as close as perfect as possible, but it had like really cool gamer centric stuff. Like it had like uh 4 control ports. Okay, it made so much sense. The Nintendo 64 had 4 control ports as well. See, like right here, it has 4 control ports, right? Like, why didn't more manufacturers do that? Okay, like the 3DO had a horrible system. It had one port that you had to daisy chain the controller. It's absolutely horrible. And then another thing the Sega Dreamcast has, it had internet. Well, it wasn't built in. You actually had to get a well, what later ones did. So right here, this is dial-up. Well, let me see. I think my camera just blurred out. Okay, I hate it when that happens. This is okay. It might not like focus again, but hopefully that comes back on. But I'm gonna try to get it to focus again. Okay, that's not working. So this is the bad thing about this Logitech webcam. Okay, I'm gonna hopefully I might have to like turn that off and turn it on. Let me see if it comes on. Okay, yeah, there it is. Sorry about that. Stupid camera. Okay, so as I was saying, the Dreamcast actually had a line-in for a modem. Okay, so if you're not old enough to remember the internet before this, I mean before what we have now, back in the day, you used to have to do dial-up modem. Okay, so it was like AOL stuff like that, and you would have to use something like this. Okay, and internet gaming was way different. It's not like it is today. Okay, so the Dreamcast did some revolutionary things. We had Fantasy Star. That was huge. Um, oh, 3DO. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, Zod. The 3DO. Oh man, it had whenever Street Fighter came out, Street Fighter 2 and 3DO, I was like, oh hell yeah, it was just incredible. The graphics were the best at that time. I mean, it was almost arcade perfect, but it didn't have things like parallax scrolling, which I couldn't understand why 3DO couldn't do it. And also I think the best thing about the 3DO version, besides the graphics, was the music. The music was rearranged. It was just awesome, better than the arcade music. Um, so so Zod is saying I still have my Saturn 3DO. Oh, awesome! Oh man, that's awesome. Carl, you said you always wanted 3DO. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Carl, I should have. Well, number one, I shouldn't have bought the Atari Jaguar. Okay, and then number two, instead of the 3DO, I probably should. I mean, not probably. I think about it now. I should have got me a Neo Geo. That's what I should have did, because for the amount of money that I spent on that, psh, I should have got a Neo Geo. But these game systems, I gotta say, having these game systems right here, this is a piece of a piece of history. Okay, crap, I hate it when I do that, but this is a piece of history, and I really gotta thank my brothers for keeping these, because I don't know what happened to mine. I had all these systems. I don't know what happened to my systems. Okay, so I gotta really thank my brothers for keeping it and maintaining it. Car said 56K, 33K, 288. Yeah, 1440. Yeah, 96, and even slower. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I think anybody who was around that age, like they see what the internet is now, like kids or people of the modern age. Like if you never lived during dial-up, you don't know how good you had. I mean, for us to download like a minute video, it might take you, I don't know, a few hours actually, and that's if you don't lose your connection. And then you would get it in I don't even know what the resolutions were back then. 480p? I don't know. It took me days to download a video trailer, okay, for QuickTime or something, okay. Colossus is he's pretty cool for a larger character because he's actually mobile. He moves pretty good. Oh, I don't remember who that. I don't know who. I don't remember who that enemy is. Okay. Special need to. Okay. Oh man. And here's the thing. I feel, and you know, other people have talked about this before. For the Sega Dreamcast, if Sega didn't like release so many different things at the same or around the same time, like for example, it had the 32X, they were still supporting their Sega Genesis, and they had their Sega CD as well. Yeah, they weren't trying to do all that and just purely just focus on the Dreamcast. You know, just focus on this amazing arcade powerhouse. I think the Dreamcast would have had a way different life, you know, or at least longer. And I know the PlayStation 2 came out and absolutely destroyed them, but I think if Sega had made those decisions, you know, they would have lasted a lot longer. I mean, and also if you think about the Neo Geo, oh man, I think they were still making games for this system up to like 2011 or something. I mean, a long time, a really long time. Oh, ah man, come on. I mean, as I was saying earlier about this game, see how varied the levels are? Nuts. It's like I don't feel like I'm playing the same game, same level over and over. Oh, come on. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Crap. I don't even think have I ever gotten this far? Maybe, I don't know. I know in the arcades, I died so many times. And basically my parents got tired of giving me quarters. And the music, of course, is sweet on these Konami games. Come on. And the designs on this, man, it was like comic book come to life. Whoever the artists were, they were great. Come on. So, you know, Carl, earlier you were talking about the arcade Legends Ultimate Arcade. Um, I don't know if there's been any updates. I think the last time I looked on the support page or whatever, I didn't see any updates for firmware fixes, which sucks. And I mean, I know they're not gonna fix it basically. So, you know, for anybody who watches this video, who've seen my other videos talking about the Arcade Legends firmware update to 5.70, I don't think that's gonna happen. You know, it has to be done by, you know, the people who makes the community basically are going to be the ones who have to fix this. So the CoinOps community, the OneSauce community, and many other communities. You know, my hat's off to everybody in these communities because it takes a lot of work, and these people do it for free, and you know that's not easy. Okay, I mean I would, and you know some of these they do have funding, you know, so if you know if you can definitely help support these people because without them, a lot of these games, you can't play them anymore. Okay, I mean, say what you will about emulation, okay, but without emulation, a lot of these games would be gone, or you know they'll be completely gone, meaning that there's no way that you can play them, and even the game companies themselves, they want all the control of these games, and I understand that they own them, but man, that would just be horrible if you couldn't play this, okay? I don't remember, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember the arcade version of this coming out for a home console. I don't think so. Was that on the Sega Saturn? I don't think so. Because I think the Sega Saturn had X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Man, look at the Sentinel. Yeah. Yeah, that's huge graphics. Carl was saying, I have 3 ALUs. I'm on 5.70 and it's fine for me. I don't use the sauce. I thought they fixed one sauce on 5.70. Yeah, I'm not sure, Carl. I mean, that's awesome that it did your coin op still work, because I am not going to update my AOU. I know some people have asked. I'm not going to do it. I mean, I don't want anything to break. So a lot of times I just got to rely on other people like yourselves and other people who've done it. But I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be fixed by At Games. And I understand that they're not responsible for fixing third-party software, especially if it's for emulation, you know. So I understand that. But just gonna have to wait. So that's a really good thing that one sauce fixed 5.7 firmware. So is that saying emulation has saved gaming, especially now with the way we are moving into a digital only world for video games? Absolutely, Zod. You know, and you know, for people who disagree with emulation game, that's cool. Okay, I mean, you can take whatever side you want, but just kind of look like what's happening. What Zod is saying, Zod Rider is saying. It's like, see these modern games, and whenever they stop supporting them or the servers are no longer available, you have no access, or Juggernaut. You have no access to those games, even though you quote unquote own them. You don't own them. The companies are giving you a license to play these games, and even when you do have the games, you still don't have full control over them. They could stop access to these games anytime they want. They could increase prices. They could block out features. They could do more tracking of you. You know, whenever I'm playing an old game like this, you know, I pop in my Sega Dreamcast games, you know, or I have my PlayStation disc, I pop it into my PlayStation. It's going to work as long as the hardware works, and I don't got to worry about any of that. None of these companies are tracking me when I'm playing those old systems, okay? So, and I quote unquote own them, okay? I physically own them. As long as the hardware is working, I own them, you know. Obviously, I don't own the IP, but I own the game. Yeah, I'm always going to be pretty passionate about that. I love emulation. I love the emulation scene, the community, and everything that they've done. And you've heard this so many times before, for historical preservation of these games. Because without them, they'll be lost in history, controlled by these gaming companies, you know, completely. Oh, what's that? Oh, crap. Okay, so let me see how to say. I never updated my Legends Gamer Pro. I'm keeping CoinOps X. Yeah, I'm not going to update it. I'm going to keep mine as is. Power saying 5.68 is where most people should be on, but 5.0 was needed for backlash fix on apps. Yeah, I definitely understand, Carl, for sure. I used to be in software development, and so I understand that you do need updates to fix bug fixes to improve things, for sure. You know, it's just that, you know, the way that you do these updates, I know it's not an easy thing, but for it to break features that I know App Games is not responsive for the third-party software, but they know that those software were the most important reasons why they bought these AOUs. So, and they removed CoinOps X from their Apex store. So, you know, that's not by accident. So it kind of makes you wonder. But what you're saying, then Fall 2 is a perfect example. The game is great and was 3 blocks, but the online play is gone. Yeah. Hey, John Braun, thanks for joining. Awesome video. Wish I was playing with you. Yeah, John. Yeah, it's, well, here's the thing. Okay, so if you had, you know, you could go to Steam store and you could download like, you know, like like Capcom. Okay, they have their Dungeons and Dragons game on there, Knights and around and stuff. And but then you could play online versus people. But back then, I'll go back to this right here. This is how you played with other people. They call it co-op now, but back then, this is just gaming with your friends. You know, plugging in some controllers. That is, I mean, I'm not against online gaming or anything. I just can say that is the best experience. And if you're at the arcades, playing with a group of your friends next to each other, you would line your quarters up, especially on really popular games like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. You would just wait for somebody to get beat, and then it was your turn to go battle. You can't beat that. I love that experience. It's amazing. Honestly, I don't think I've ever gotten this far in the game before. You know, even in the arcades, like I said, my parents didn't have enough money to give me, and whenever I go with my friends, you know, you maybe you know if you're lucky, you might get $20 worth of quarters. Normally, I had like $5 or $10, but you know, some friends, you know, they actually had their parents had money, so they had more than $20. So you would try to, you know, find those friends so that you could play a lot longer. One thing I will say, even though the backgrounds and stuff, it's a variety. They do a lot of the same enemies. They just palette swap them, but still, you know, I can't complain. Now, who could it? Wow, like if the Dreamcast could have did this for sure. I'm pretty sure they could have done this game justice, arcade perfection. Honestly, this is I didn't know this game was this long. It's a pretty long game. And I think Zod mentioned this earlier, but Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, that was by Capcom. It reminds me of that as well. That was a really fun game, actually. And Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, it was a comic book and comic book. I think it was just a little short cartoon as well. That's so funny that that game got made from something that most people didn't really know about. Come on. Now, on the Sega Genesis, the X-Men games were pretty good. I really enjoyed. I mean, they weren't like this beat 'em up game. It was like side-scrolling action game. It was pretty fun actually. I enjoyed it a lot. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm probably gonna play one more level because man, this is game streaming. Wow, I don't know how people do it. It's tough. Especially I've seen some of those game streamers that are stream for like 10 plus hours. I don't know how they do that. That is that is amazing to me. Okay. So in terms of like maybe oh crap. Maybe beat 'em up games that I think kind of set the standard for where we are today. Obviously Zod mentioned Double Dragon. And before Double Dragon, the guy who created Double Dragon, his first game that came out in the US, I think it was called Renegade. And in Japan, it was called something else. I can't remember it, but it was based upon a really popular manga. And based upon that, he did Double Dragon. That's kind of where that came from. And there's been many side-scrolling beat 'em up since then. But as anybody knows, the one that really, I would say, propelled it to the modern times was Final Fight. I love Final Fight. And I did on my last stream or my last live stream, I played Final Fight. And I still wish they would have made a Final Fight sequel in the arcades. You know, they never did that. I still don't understand why to this day. They made many Final Fight games, and you know, I don't count the Super Nintendo sequels because they weren't the arcade games. Okay, even though they were fun, but nothing come close to the original Final Fight arcade. Carl says, "I love Renegade. It was hard. Yeah, it was really hard. I don't remember the original Japanese name of that game. I have to find that out. But it was based upon a manga." Zod said, "I like the NES Renegade more than the arcade version." You know, the NES one was fun. You're right. Oh man, you know, that made me think, okay? Because the company that made Double Dragon, okay, was American Technos. It's a Japanese company. And man, one of the best games that they made. What was it? Was it Rival? No, it wasn't Rival Turf. Oh man, what was it? It was like an RPG fighting game. It was so much fun. I might have to look that up. What was it called? God. Oh man, I can't. It was it? Oh, Ransom City. That's right. Oh man, Ransom City. That was. Oh, Combat Tribes was fun too. Ransom City was so awesome. Maybe I'll do a gameplay of that one later on. It was on the Nintendo. Man, that thing. It combined a beat 'em up with RPG. Had a great story. It had chibi characters, really cute and stuff. But man, that was so much fun. Ransom City, yeah. I think there was a sequel to it too. Oh man, I gotta play that again now that I'm talking about it. Combat Tribes. Oh, but Combat Tribes, if you haven't played it, it's like these really big dudes, bikers, wrestlers. They're just like bashing people with motorcycles, smashing their heads together. A really slow game, but man, it was fun in its own way, okay? And there's also Bad Dudes. I like that from Data East. And was there a sequel to Combat Tribes? I don't think there was a sequel. But there was another one, Crude Dudes. Yeah, Crude Dudes was the sequel to Bad Dudes. I didn't like that much. That one is nowhere near as much as I did Bad Dudes. Yeah, Combat Tribes is dope. I'm going to have to play that as well. Yeah, yeah. It's the big dudes, biker wrestler dudes. And it's funny when they smash their heads, it just cracks together. Oh man, that was fun. I cannot believe I'm this far in the game. Oh, Nightcrawler's pretty sweet here. And I think earlier I saw Mystique, so I probably have to fight her as a boss. They got so many things right on this game, dude. Now honestly, I don't know how you could make this any better. And you know, it would have been great if Konami made an arcade sequel to this. You know, if they release one now, I would buy it for sure. You know, Zod, now that you mention it, you know, I might pick up the Double Dragon and also Streets of Rage 4 as well on Steam. If I could pick it up a bit. Mayhem Brawlers is a great new beat 'em up from iArcade. Ooh, never heard of that. People still, I mean, I don't know of anybody who has the iArcade. I mean, I'm not. Maybe you could educate me on that, Carl. I don't know. I still don't get it. I don't know why somebody would buy the iArcade. I really don't know. I mean, but at the same time, I don't know why people would buy the arcade one-ups. I mean, overly pricey, and you only get like, well, including sometimes you get additional games like 14 games or something. But I just don't see the appeal. And modding it, it's not. Adding games is not easy on the arcade one-ups. Okay, I'm gonna have to check out that Mayhem Brawlers. If it's only available on iArcade, then I guess I can't. But at least I could check out videos of it. Oh wait, am I fighting him again? What? Come on, man. Oh, you can't beat. Oh man. Konami's not. Well, Konami of today is not like Konami of this time. All right, Sasquatch. I'm fighting all of them again. Because Konami today, I don't know, they suck. But if they did make an arcade sequel to this, or whatever, a Steam sequel, I don't care what they call it, virtual. Oh man, I'm fighting all of them now. I must be near the boss. Oh crap. Yeah, I would buy it for sure. You know, and one game that I did enjoy was Bloodstained. I wish Konami would make a true Castlevania sequel, but you know, Igarashi made it and his team made it, so I really enjoyed it. I hope there's a sequel to that. Still, that is, I mean, Symphony of the Night. Yeah, that's I don't think that's ever going to be bested. Carl saying, I bought an arcade cabinet for construction 4x3 monitor. The game may browse available on Steam. I do prefer my AOEs. Oh, okay. Oh, it is available on Steam. Okay, might check it out. Man, Juggernaut. See, this is how Juggernaut should have been in the movie. Like this. Oh, there's Magneto, Professor X. You're nothing. I'm gonna destroy you. And we know when I was a kid, I didn't have the original X-Men, but I had the X-Men #1. Whenever they were introduced by Jim Lee. So anybody who's the comic book scene, if they do know Jim Lee now, they probably know him as the head of DC Comics, if I remember correctly. But back then, Jim Lee was one of the premier comic book artists. Him, Todd McFarlane, I can't even remember their names, but them and a bunch of other really, really big comic book artists, they formed Image Comics. Okay, that's like, to me, that was the most awesome time. Yeah, Rob Liefeld. Yeah, oh man, there's so many great comic book artists back then. And you know, I might be biased, but I love comics back then. The stories were better, the characters were well written. Everything was just, I don't know, it's just so much awesomeness there. You know, it makes you really proud to have your comic book collection. Nowadays, yeah, I mean, for me, comic books suck. I mean, for me, okay. A lot of people buy more manga now. So, a car saying the graphics are so good on the game. I know, right? I know, Carl. I mean, this is. Oh, that was Mystique. Okay. Oh yeah, that was too easy. I know, man. This is like a comic book in real life. Oh yeah, here's Magneto. Magneto is just badass, dude. I love Magneto. And Magneto from the comic book, he's truly a badass. And of course, there was like an Overlord version of him. I don't know. It kind of got weird after that. Oh, or Overlord was a combination of Magneto and Professor X manifested to a super powerful being. Come on. Oh. Okay, I think I'm gonna kill him with Wolverine. Yeah, let's do that. I'll let him die because I started with Wolverine. I'm gonna end this with Wolverine. Oh wait, no I'm not. Whatever. Magneto, you're about to go down. Man, can you imagine? This is one thing I still like think about sometimes. Like, if Konami or Capcom did a beat 'em up like this with Star Wars characters, I'm surprised that never happened. It would have been amazing. Can you imagine fighting with your favorite Star Wars characters, lightsabers, Chewbacca's, R2D2s, whatever, man. Just destroying the Empire. That would have been so fun with these graphics and gameplay, and the music, of course, would have been legendary. I don't know why they never did that. It would have been perfect. I guess Lucasfilm controlled all the rights, obviously, so that's probably why it never happened. But a Star Wars beat 'em up in this style with the same developers, you know, like if Konami developers did a Star Wars beat 'em up, man, it would be a classic to this day. I'd probably be playing that. As much as I love X-Men, I love Star Wars way more. Well, at least Star Wars back then, not Star Wars now. All right. No, you won't, Magneto. Oh, crap. You know, he's really not that... Well, maybe because I have unlimited quarters. He's not that tough. Yeah, he did kill me. That's so funny how he's taunting you. You are dead. Great. Oh, yeah. Take that, Magneto. Man. Yeah. X-Wing. No, is that the X-Wing? I can't remember the names now. Note the game is not over yet. Okay, honestly, maybe maybe this is the first time I passed it. I don't know. How can it say the game is not over? What? Man, you could tell, man, that the people who developed this entire team, obviously from Japan, they love X-Men, man. Look at this. It had to be made by fans. It had to be. There's so much love here. And that's another thing I'll say, just speaking of modern games. And once again, you know, people might disagree with me on this, but most modern games, especially these big AAA games, I don't feel like it's made by people who really love it. You know, it's made, well, maybe there are, but the companies that control it, they don't love the games like the fans do, okay? And when I play these classic games, man, I feel the love, man. Yeah, modern games has a lot of bugs. They're unfinished. We are the beta testers. Oh, that's it. All right, well, I just started all over. Well, that is my entire playthrough of X-Men. And this live stream on YouTube. I just want to really thank Carl, Zod, and then I think James, who came in earlier. And anybody else who watched the stream. This was really, really a fun time. And also, I'm just like really, really happy to be able to talk about modern gaming. And why I think it sucks compared to real gaming like this. Okay, so anybody who disagrees, that's cool. You can leave your comments below, but I'm gonna go back and maybe clean my game systems, or I don't know. I might just like Oh, I might just get my Sega Saturn and I don't know, maybe play some more or something. I don't know. But yeah, thank you so much for joining this random stream. Here's the Sega Saturn. Oh man. Yep. So if you want to forget about modern gaming for a little bit, or maybe for a long time, then you know, definitely pull out some of your older games. And if you don't have that, obviously there's other options like emulation. Go back to your arcades and have a great time. So for any of you who are watching now or later, thank you very much. And we see you again at the arcades.